Hello to all of you from the sanctuary, the most mysterious place of Istanbul. I'm Mystery Hunter. A secret tomb found in the most important reason that makes this place so mysterious. A sarcophagus that Italy has been chasing for hundreds of years. So what's in a sarcophagus? A lifeless body with the lower part of the snake and the upper part of a woman. Yes, you heard right. It reminded me of one of the greatest Anatolian legends, SIRDAŞ. To you. Is not it? Here is an exciting video with this inverted statue of Medusa in the cistern and dozens of incredible details you need to hear. If you're ready, let's start. Date: 1544. When a Dutch traveler came to Istanbul to search for Byzantine ruins, he did not know that he was going to make a great discovery. One day, while wandering around Hagia Sophia, he encountered an interesting sight in some houses. Inside the houses here were round holes that looked like wells. And the people of the house were hanging buckets from these holes and drawing water. The Dutch traveler was very surprised by what he saw, and as he continued to examine the situation, he was even more amazed and witnessed that some of them even fished from these holes in the floors of the houses. The people of that time were performing these actions without being aware of what was under their feet. But soon a great secret would be revealed. The traveler pursued this work and eventually discovered a passage, as were the steps leading to the underground. Just like in the Indiana Jones movies, he lit his torch and began to slowly descend the stairs he discovered. The view in front of it was extraordinary. It was an old cistern with 336 giant columns, 9 meters high, spread over an area of 9,800 square meters. A gigantic structure built by the Byzantine Emperor Justinianus in 526 BC to provide water to the city by employing 7,000 slaves. This place, with a capacity of 100,000 tons of water, was used for a short time to draw water to the gardens of Topkapi Palace, right next to Hagia Sophia, and then it was terminated and hidden underground in a forgotten way. A Dutch traveler rediscovered it, thus enabling him to recognize such an artifact in the West. Had happened, the Dutch traveler had perhaps rediscovered the sinking cistern. There was something he had to discover but didn't know. He also knew that some people in the world knew a great secret that lay in the hallucination, and that they had been trying to reach him for a long time. This place contained great secrets beyond being an ordinary water cistern, and 2 Medusa statues, one of which was positioned on the opposite side, were also important parts of this mystery. Later, you will be amazed when you hear about the chilling events that took place during the reign of Mehmet the Conqueror and Sultan ABDULHAMID Han. But first, let's go back to 1963 and see what happened in the Basilica Cistern, and then we will go on a mysterious journey in history in order to better understand the events. Date: 1963. Location: Basilica Cistern. Date: 1963. Place: Istanbul sinking cistern. Every year in April, a group of people from the north of the Alps and the British Isles were visiting the sinking cistern in order to perform a mysterious ritual. These people, who are made up of the priest class in urban communities, are called Druids. Druids, who are highly respected in the society with their wisdom and also very effective sorcerers, do not know why the cistern that sank to the ground was of such great importance to them. The main reason for this is that the Druids only verbally transferred this mysterious information to each other for security reasons. This information is documented only in outline. Today, mistletoe, formerly known as gold diving plant, was the main ingredient used by the Druids in their ceremonies. The Druids, who came to the sinking cistern with the mistletoe they brought with them, performed secret ceremonies here without anyone knowing. The most interesting detail of the event was that the mysterious rituals were performed in the part of the cistern that sank to the ground, where the statue of Medusa was located. Until the 90s, this area where the head of Medusa was found was not visible to the people visiting the cistern that sank into the ground. This part was located in a secret section that could not be seen from the outside. So in fact, until recently, we could see a small part of the cistern that sank to the ground. The area with the inverted head of Medusa was extremely important to the Druids. Druids used to hug Medusa's head during the ritual, and they would pass out. Some information they only had was telling the Druids that the head of Medusa was not put there by chance. The Romans deliberately placed the head of Medusa there upside down. Because according to the belief, an evil dark vibration was emanating from Medusa's head. But this dark energy was very important to Druid belief. According to them, darkness was the mother of light, and that's why they gave this Medusa head a name. They called her the Night Mother. It is known that the Druids who performed these rituals, which continue for 3 days in April every year in the sinking cistern, secretly made a giant human statue out of wicker and placed the Gauls in it, then set them on fire and sacrificed them. Not to mention that they eat human flesh. After the 60s, the Druids were not seen much, but in the 21st century, they resurrected under the name of modern Druidism. Recently, it was seen that the same ceremonies were performed in Stonehenge in England. Now, how about opening up the mystery of these dark rituals in the sinking cistern? But let me warn you, what you will hear will give you goosebumps. Let's go back to the time of Mehmet the Conqueror, 100 years before the Dutch traveler rediscovered the sinking cistern. Date: 1456. In Italy, the members of a mysterious board were trying to reach Fatih Sultan Mehmet by trying every way. The committee, which included various ambassadors and important names, set off to Istanbul with various gifts they took with them. When they reached the Sultan's palace, they could not reach their wishes again. Because Fatih Sultan Mehmet did not accept to meet with them. When the team continued their insistence, the Sultan finally appointed his vizier and asked them what he wanted. An interesting meeting takes place between the vizier and the committee from Venice. The main subject of the meeting is a treasure they claim to be found in the sinking cistern. The vizier was surprised by what he heard. Who are these people from Italy? How did they know what was inside the cistern? So tell me, where exactly is it by this time? He asked. Where is the Italian board in the cistern of the treasury? When you answer that you can only tell Fatih Sultan Mehmet, the issue is conveyed to the Sultan. The Italians finally succeeded in attracting the attention of the Sultan, and Mehmet the Conqueror agreed to meet with them. The Italians, who were hosted in the palace, came to the presence of the Sultan. When they leave, they begin to tell what they know. Inside the sinking cistern in Istanbul lies a great secret. A great treasure. What we're talking about is a specially made sarcophagus containing a mummy that you can't find anywhere. Hearing this, the Sultan was surprised. What kind of mummy was he talking about that these men were talking about, and how did they even know about it? Then the men from Venice continued their words. The body lying in this sarcophagus hidden in the sinking cistern belongs to the legendary Medusa. Yes, that famous woman with snake hair, who is known in legends and known to turn those who look into her eyes into stone. It seems that Sultan Mehmet the Conqueror took what he heard seriously and sent these Italians, whose identity is not known, back as they came, because the subject of this mysterious sarcophagus, which was claimed to be in the cistern that sank to the ground for a long time, was forgotten. Until hundreds of years pass, and until he comes to the knowledge of this meeting that took place between Sultan ABDULHAMID Han, who is known to be interested in mysterious events, the Italian council, and Fatih Sultan Mehmet. The claim of this sarcophagus in the cistern excited him a lot, and he was obsessed with unearthing this sarcophagus among all his work. Immediately, Yildiz has a team prepared, including the members of the intelligence, and has the cistern, which sank to the ground, searched every corner. Even today, it is claimed that the sinking cistern actually has much more than what we can see, and that there are tunnels extending to different parts of Istanbul. In this mysterious sarcophagus research initiated by Sultan Abdulhamid Han, the sarcophagus mentioned by the Italians is finally discovered in a secret compartment of the cistern. For the first time in Turkey, you can find the striking details of this research, which the researcher and author Octane Keleş brought to the agenda in his book titled SIRDAŞ. Let's take a quick look at what happened. When the news that the sarcophagus was found, Abdulhamid reached the inn, he immediately went to the sinking cistern in order to examine the incident on the spot. Sultan Abdulhamid Han, who witnessed the opening of the sarcophagus, was almost horrified by the sight, because inside the sarcophagus there was a mummified creature whose body resembled a snake and its head resembled a human. It turns out that the Italians who came to Mehmet the Conqueror 450 years ago were telling the truth. So what would happen now? Abdulhamid Han, who thought that if this event was heard, many discord might arise among the public, thought that the event should remain a secret, and soon issued an edict on the subject. But there was another issue that should not be ignored. In this case, he made a wise decision to unearth the sarcophagus and display it to the public. But without the mummy inside, with a significant difference. First, they destroyed the strange creature with the body of a snake. And then the sarcophagus was brought to light in the cistern that sank to the ground with difficulty, was taken to the courtyard of today's Fatih Mosque and displayed to the public. This situation even became the subject of the newspaper of the period. Although we cannot reach any copy of this newspaper, its most important page, the sarcophagus researcher Octane Keleş succeeded in delivering the news to the page and preserving it until today. Here is the image of the day when the mysterious sarcophagus was exhibited. This mysterious sarcophagus was later brought to this cemetery located right next to the Mulla Fenari Mosque. But allegedly, Italy had already pursued the sarcophagus, and they soon reached it. There is talk of the possibility that the sarcophagus was smuggled to the Vatican. When we look at the Vatican today, the possibility that they were interested in this snake-like creature would not sound very interesting. If you ask why, let's take a closer look at the Vatican. This is a specially built building that the Pope used for some public events and ceremonies. When you look carefully, the first thing you will see is that it resembles a snake's head. Let's take a look inside the building, which resembles a snake head with its eyes, nose, and shape. Here you can see the eyes, skin, teeth, and even the tongue of the snake. Even the statues inside are interesting. That half of the face of the statue, located just behind the seat of the Pope, resembles another reptilian creature separated from its body. Not only that, while walking down the street in the Vatican, the buildings may seem very ordinary, but let's take a bird's eye look at them. Here again, you can clearly see the head of a snake and even the way it was specially made to represent its forked tongue. And according to some theorists, from a different perspective, the building even resembles a crowned snake. As you can see, some interesting events that have been going on for hundreds of years still seem to show themselves today. I'm curious about your thoughts on these events from the Ottoman Empire to the Vatican, involving reptiles. Home to many legends, from half-human, half-snake king to Medusa, the lands of Turkey seem to continue to attract the attention of the world in every period. I recommend you to visit the Basilica Cistern. Even if you have seen it before, recent restorations have made it worth seeing again. But be careful when you approach the statue of Medusa and try not to look into its eyes. Just in case,